Okay, jumping in and getting right to it here. We're going to dry fit the neck to the body. And the first thing you need to do is make sure that the fretboard sits flush with the body. As you can see, there's about a 1/16 of an inch gap in here, and that's just not doable. So StewMac does a nice job of getting these necks and bodies to fit, but not proper fit, right? So I also have about an 1/8 inch or so gap between the straight edge and the top of the saddle there. So first thing I need to do is just make sure that I can get this um, dovetail joint to fit all the way in so that the neck and the fretboard fits flush with the body. So I'm going to remove some material right here on the dovetail joints themselves. That's the spot that needs a little bit of relief in order to allow it to fit all the way in, because it doesn't even fit all the way down just yet. So the area that we need to remove some material from to get the space that's needed for a tight fit is on the dovetail itself. I'm also working to get some of this glue squeeze out of there, just a little bit. And I did this a few times. I shaved a tiny bit off, test fit, removed it, shaved a little bit more, test fit it again. I don't want to go over at all. Still a little bit to go. Let's go through the same process again. And you can see right here, I'm pointing at the area, the joint inside there between the dovetail and the cheeks of the neck heel. Took a little bit more out of there. Fits flush, flat, perfect. Happy with that. And I need a little bit of tilt forward, so I put this shim in there, very, very thin, maybe a 32nd of an inch thick shim that allows the flat edge to just touch the saddle. That's what you want. You don't want any gap in there, and you don't want the flat edge, straight edge bumping into the saddle. So now it's time to install the remaining frets, and I made this little caul, I guess you will. It's just a 2x4 with a groove cut in it to account for the truss rod, because you want full support across the board on this thing. Otherwise, you could break that little neck overhang. Just like you saw in the previous video and other guitar build videos of mine, here's where I take the fret file, knock that thing down at a 90-degree angle, give it the 35 or 40-degree bevel, and clean up the edges a little bit so that they're not sharp. I'm going to do a proper fret dressing later. Just as I go along here, I'm trying to make sure that, it's sort of, I guess, rough cut or just generally rounded. Plus, I don't want to gouge myself while I'm working on this thing, and those fret ends are pretty sharp. Next up is sanding, and I'm going to spare you that. You're not going to have to watch me sand. I raised the grain on here. I took a wet towel, soaked the whole thing in it, let the grain pop up, sanded it down, did that a couple times. And now I'm taping off the spruce top, now that it's all sanded, to 220 grit, and I'm going to go ahead and do the staining. First up, the neck, I'm going to use, it's about, maybe 4 drops of brown and 3 drops of red dye for the mahogany stain. Give this thing a little naphtha bath. Make sure I know I'm using my hand to hold it, but make sure all the grease and oil and shop stuff is off of it before I get started, and that'll make for a nice surface to take the stain. It worked out really well. I went around it about 3 times, I think. It dried pretty quickly. It's part water, part alcohol, and like I said, I already raised the grain, so that's not an issue here. And as I made it around once, it was pretty much evaporated and soaked in and whatnot. So I just went around again and again and again. And once it got to the color that I was happy with, I went ahead and stopped, let it dry overnight. Make sure that there's no stain on the little pad below, because if I laid that spruce top down on there, that would not be fun. So the back took it really nice. There is a lot of pores, a lot of grain on this that needs to be filled. So you'll see, I didn't show it here, but I did one pass of grain filler on this to try to get the pores filled. And then I sanded it back, and right here I'm just making sure that anything that's I don't want finished to be on is taped off. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off of here. That was just there to protect the top from getting stain on it. And then I'm going to lightly sand it just a little bit, knock down any more grain that's stood up, and I'm going to give it a few coats of de-waxed shellac. Now, the idea here is that there'll be minimal finish on this thing, because I want it to sound as good as possible. And but I don't want the nitrocellulose lacquer to soak right into these dry pores, the dry wood surface. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few coats of de-waxed shellac. I'm going to knock it down with a light bit of sandpaper every couple coats. Maybe I'll go with 3 light coats, maybe 4. And that's pretty much it. Here's where we are. It's turning out really nice. At the time of this video, I obviously don't have it done yet. So there it is. Everything's taped off and it's just kind of hanging there. It's filling in the pores with the shellac nicely. And on the next video, we'll go ahead and hit it with some nitrocellulose, and then we'll finish up the assembly on this thing, and I'll share any lessons that I learned along the way.